everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles postgame show, live from the Xfinity studio and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. We are here to unpack a disastrous result for the Eagles. They get the result they needed on the outside. The Lions nip the Bears, and so that means if the Eagles can just beat the lowly Commanders, they will be the number 2 seed in the NFC. Get to welcome in the reeling Green Bay Packers, but instead, they cannot get it done. Tanner McKee not up to the challenge on the day. More importantly, the defense absolutely run over by the Commanders, and so now we know that next weekend, the Eagles, as the 3 seed, will welcome to the LINC Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk about that matchup. We'll hear from Fran Duffy, who's going to break down some of the plays from this game. We'll hear from EJ Smith, who talks to the guys in the locker room from the LINC in a little bit. But we start with our initial thoughts from Super Bowl champion Vinny Curry. Devon Givens. Vinny, let's start with you.
Oh, man.
Big takeaway.
That was hard to watch.
I mean, sitting here with you, watching that, you were offended by the level of play in that game.
Dude, I don't think nobody played hard. You think about it. The guys were so gassed on defense that they wasn't even trying to make a second and third effort. It was, as we talked about it, off the air, I said, thank God it's not Madden, because I would have called timeout and put the damn starters in. I'd rather go out, with the starters to try to get that number 2 seed locked up.
Devon, how about you?
Self-inflicted wounds. We can count about 3-4 PIs that they had where
I got a list of just like the funniest moments from this game.
Yeah. Let's go to the Sixers postgame, WTF moment of the nights, because there were plenty of, look, as you talked about, we talked about it at halftime, though, where the defense, they had opportunities and they didn't do enough to step up. Right. And in the second half, could they do it? They got off to a great start in the second half by doing so, forcing that punt. They come down, they score, and then you get a penalty, you get a PI from Bennett twice. You get a PI from McWilliams right there in the end zone as well. And then you get a 4th penalty from Ringo that I know we'll talk about, but I think those things really stand out as far as the defense. And you're asking a lot of the defensive front, which you were talking about in the pregame, which was, why is A.J. Dillon active and on this roster?
Well, thank you for setting me up. Thank you for setting me up, Devon.
Yes.
Because that is my main takeaway here.
Yes.
I think this is good news for the Eagles. Because this was a ball don't lie karmic loss for the team because of roster malpractice. Why did they get run over on defense? Because they had no bodies to play on the defensive line. They also had nobody in the secondary to the point where they had to put in McWilliams, and guys are throwing flags all over the place. Why did they not have an extra body at either of those positions? Because they kept A.J. Dillon on the roster and didn't bring up somebody from the practice squad to sign to the active roster. You could have signed Patrick Johnson. You could have signed Andre Sam, guys who will probably play special teams for you in the playoffs. Instead, you hold this spot all season long for A.J. Dillon, who hasn't been active since week 6. He gets, I think, 1 reception, 1 touch. They've already got 2 other running backs to be active in this game. It's a waste of a roster spot. It's the reason they lost this game. It's the reason they're not the 2 seed. We can complain about Tanner McKee's performance. We can get on Darius Cooper for his penalty. We can get on Nick for not playing the guys as long as he could have. The reason they lost this game and the reason they may not repeat as Super Bowl champions is that A.J. Dillon was still on the team.
Period. 1 reception for 3 yards. I don't know how many snaps he had, but 1 reception for 3 yards. And Vinny, you talked about it, and Bo, you said it at the time. Just look how gassed they were. There was a play where Ty Robinson looked like he had an opportunity on that last drive, but after he got released, he was held. After he got released,
he's exhausted. Yeah,
he had nothing left to even push off to try to stop Jalen Johnson from running or try to stop them from getting in the end zone. And it's just ridiculous, man, to not have an extra body out there for them. And look, you were already funneling in Jordan Davis and Moro Ojomo. They were doing their part because of what we just talked about. Right. They didn't have enough. You could not put them out there the entire game. We've talked about it in the pregame of how healthy they are going into the postseason. You don't want to overtax them, risk an injury, and then something happens, and why were they playing in the game? But here we are, and now they're going to be the 3rd seed. Right now, only 1 playoff game if they get by round number 1, where they had the opportunity against a more beat-up team, better opponent in Green Bay, and now you have to face the San Francisco 49ers. Even though I said that is the one team that I would feel comfortable playing, that was not there before when we were talking about it in the pregame.
Right.
Chicago and Detroit, they gave you a gift and you did not take advantage of it.
Now, the reason I think that this may not really come back to bite the Eagles that much is that the true difference of this seed, 2 versus 3, is that if the Bears win and you win, you go to Chicago instead of getting Chicago at home.
Right.
And I don't think the way that Chicago is playing right now, that is the scariest proposition. I think that difference is probably worth having Jalen and Saquon and the offensive line guys rested. Probably. It's a toss-up. Now, the other flip side to that is if there's the consequences of, let's say the Bears lose, that means you're going to play a better team than you would have if the Bears had won that game. But I think it will be okay for the Eagles to have gotten this rest. But there's no doubt this is a blown opportunity that I'm sure Nick Sirianni will address, and we'll hear from EJ what he says.
Right, but I also think.
What did you think about the idea of the guy sitting? As a former player, what did you think of that choice?
Yeah, listen, I would have said the guys.
You would have said the guys too. Okay.
I said, thank God they ain't mad because I would have post pause and put everybody in the fourth quarter.
Cold.
They try to do it, But no, I would have said the guys. Let them get that rest. They understand how important it is next week. But it was some bright spots out there today, though. I'm not saying it was. I love the way Jeremiah tried to play.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was very fun in this game. Yes.
Yeah. Jalyx Hunt.
Yeah.
Third interception,
a pick and a fumble.
Well, that's like the
3 picks for an edge guy is insane.
That's insane. And the former safety.
Yeah.
It was definitely some bright spots.
You know who the brightest spot today was?
AJ Dillon.
Adoree Jackson.
Oh, locked up that number 2 starting spot, didn't he?
I mean, you want to talk about a guy who had a great day on the sideline. Adoree Jackson watching the rest of the secondary get flag after flag after flag. It's like, how you like me now?
Yeah. Yep.
But I thought you was going with a joke there.
Hey, I was with you. I thought you was going AJ Dillon on that one too.
Yeah, that's a great day for Adoree Jackson.
No. It was. But at the same time, it's like that was an opportunity, a blown opportunity, I thought, for Ringo to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
They set you up by alley-oop.
He's such a good special teams player.
Crazy.
He's a really nice guy. I like talking to him. It was a horror show performance from him today.
Right.
The penalties, and then on the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's talk.
That is
about
a laughable play.
Let's talk about that.
It is like
that was really bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, he was doing the right thing. He was attacking the football.
He reads it well.
Yes, he does.
He's going, and then he just turns his head and runs away. It was like a glitch in a video game. You're talking about Madden. It was like, it was like a breaking Madden thing. It was,
right.
But it was as if he was point shaving, like the kind of thing. And it's not. I'm not saying
no,
it was like the kind of thing that you would see.
Right.
And it's not even a football play. We were talking. It's like every sport you play, you got to go to the man with the ball when there's nobody else in your area. It's like defending a 2-on-1 in basketball. Like, what are you doing? You can't just leave him to run into the end zone.
It's like with the basketball now. It's just like they gave him a ball fake. Right. And he fell for the ball fake, and he just turned around and went the other way. Except there was no ball fake. He just ran and decided, let me turn around.
It was so
and as
weird.
He turned around, and then the worst part of it, after he turned around, he sees his teammate on the Washington receiver, and he keeps following him. And Jalen Johnson just walks into the end zone. So a lot of these bad mistakes. Right. And look, we will talk about a lot of the good things that you brought up for sure, Vin, but those things, again, opportunity presented, opportunity wasted.
Tank Bigsby was a lot of fun
really
to watch.
good.
I was about to say that. He took advantage of his opportunity. He was a bright spot, and I love the way Dotson was running those routes, and he shows you why he's one of the better route runners there is in the game. I mean, that dude had guys stumbling.
You're giving him one of the better route runners in the game?
I would have to.
I mean,
it
how
was a
deep
bright
are you
spot.
going, 100?
From what we had out there, I mean,
Okay. Oh, you mean in the game today?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
not in the game.
No,
like the game of football.
in the game
okay.
today.
All right, I'll give you that. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm talking about for today. It was.
And he had 8 targets today.
That's what I'm saying. Like
3 catches on 40 yards
Exactly.
for 40 yards on those 8 targets. Yeah. Now listen, let's talk Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee was not great in this game. Early on, he looked pretty good, and I think that is actually part of the deal with Tanner McKee is that when he has good receivers to throw to, he will give them a chance to win contested balls. So when he's got Devonta Smith, who gets his 1,000 yards, 3 catches for 52 yards, I think that's part of it. And he's also playing behind a very beleaguered offensive line. I mean, you have Cameron Williams playing the first time he's ever played in a regular season game at tackle. You've got Pryor out there. All of that said, he's missing open guys. He's making some mistakes. This was certainly the worst we've seen Tanner McKee look in an Eagles uniform in a while. Finished 21 of 40 for 241, a touchdown and an interception. I would imagine that Fran will probably break down the red zone interception he threw at the end of the first half. I think there's a case to be made that was on Dotson, but he's still going to own it. That was not good.
Thought he heated up in the third quarter when they got the ball back. They scored, came back down, made it 14-10. The issue that I had on when they got the ball back again, looking like they were going to be able to score or at least sustain a drive, it was what was it, second and one, or second and one, and he escaped the pocket. As you talked about, the pocket collapsed.
It was like the Ringo play. Like, what are you doing?
He was wide. He had it was just nothing but grass in front of him. And look, we're not making him out to be Josh Allen, but get the first down on the 1 yard scamper.
100%. And they end up, that was second down. They ended up punting on that.
Exactly. Yeah. And because Tank Bigsby gets stops on 3rd and 1, and they have to punt because they're on Washington's on their own end, and they have to give that up. But just as much as we hear about him as a smart quarterback and all the stuff, and he does some really good things. I see why you like him so much, Bo. On a play like that, though, he has to take that. You take what's given to you and not try to force and fit a ball into a tight spot to Cooper when the D-back is all over him. And it would have to have been a miraculous catch from Cooper with the D-back on him. He has to take that yard right there and get a new set of downs, move the chains, and go from there. So that was one that really stood out.
There was way too much Tanner McKee fleeing the pocket today.
Yeah.
Way too much him running around. That is not his game. Even if there's nobody open.
And he's going lateral. He's not going forward. He's going lateral.
My boy was trying to look elusive.
Yeah, that is not. He did not
Josh
look elusive.
Allen.
That was a tough scene. Okay, let's get to some of the super chats, and then we'll unpack this a little bit more and keep this bad boy moving as the Eagles finish the season 11-6, headed to the playoffs for the 5th time in 5 seasons under Nick Sirianni. Zane Pentney, if Eagles lose to the Niners, Sirianni and KP have to be fired, surely.
Damn.
Nah.
Aggressive.
So listen, let me tell you something. Okay, what happens if he wins? It becomes one of the he's already right now arguably one of besides Big Red. I mean,
Nick is not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's 2 Super Bowls.
But I will say this:
come on,
we talked heading into this game about sort of the natural experiment of what would this offense look like for this staff putting a game plan together for a non-Jalen Hurts quarterback, because we've heard so much sort of behind the scenes finger pointing about who's responsible for this offense looking as underwhelming as it has all season long. You saw it today. It was not better than the Jalen Hurts offense. So even as somebody who really likes Tanner McKee as a quarterback and still does believe that he is a starting caliber quarterback, the idea that he is better suited to run this team than Jalen Hurts is insane. Okay, so we can put that to bed. And I think you can probably put to bed some of the idea that the reason that the Eagles have underachieved so much is just because they're doing what Jalen Hurts wants them to do on offense. It's not, Ross Tucker is killing the play calls during the game like there's nobody open. So that is the offense.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have a guy where we talk about Jalen Hurts getting out of the pocket and saving plays. Tanner McKee can't save plays.
I was just going to say that. Go back to that play we was talking about, the way he saw green grass in front of him. Mm-hmm. I think that comes with the feel of the game and experience where Jalen would have got that first down.
Yeah.
So there go a lot of questions that were likely to be answered.
And that comes with
confidence again, bro. I want to tell them bring on the Niners, man.
Well, listen, you want to talk confidence. Here's the confidence. Here's the confidence, Vinny. You watched the game last night. You saw the Niners get beat up physically by a tenacious defense. Guess what they have coming their way? The Eagles' defense is coming their way. Like the last play of that game, Brock Purdy gets rocked in 2.
Yeah.
And guess what is coming for him next week? Arrested Jalen Phillips, arrested Jalen Carter. This ferocious Eagles pass rush that's been so good since the bye, the best back 7 in football,
including Adoree Jackson.
And including Adoree Jackson. That's right. And yeah, maybe they'll get Trent Williams back and they'll get Ricky Pearsall back. But I think if you watch that game after the previous few weeks where everybody was talking about how unstoppable that Niners offense was, let's calm that down. I think the Eagles defense will be okay in that matchup.
And to your point, with the way Jalyx Hunt played today, after getting all those reps today and feeling good, getting another pick, getting that fumble recovery like he did, he's going to feel good. And now you get those other reinforcements of the regular starters coming back and the normal rotation where guys are a little more fresh against Brock Purdy and those guys. I don't even know what happened. Trent Williams had got hurt in the one game too. So I'm curious. I didn't see what – I don't remember if he played last night, but
no, he didn't play.
He didn't play last night. All right, so hey, I'm curious to see how that looks next week. Coming into town, having to fly across country in this weather, playing against this team that's going to put a lot of pressure there. Again, as I said to you, Bo, in the pregame and Vin when we were talking out there, I still like their chances against the 49ers. I'm just ticked off that they spit up an opportunity that was right in front of them.
I want to talk about Eagles development, like Jalyx Hunt. Oh my God,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Jordan Davis, like the way the guys is developing right in front of our eyes. Kudos to the guys that put in the work and that staff they got over there. We're watching something special right in front of our eyes. I just hope we can be able to get Big JD back this offseason. You know what I mean? Because he done made himself a lot of money.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot.
Let's go.
I have an early line courtesy of Bet365 on Niners Eagles for next weekend. What is your guess?
Eagles by 2.5.
What'd you say?
By 10.
By 10? Eagles by 3.
Eagles by 3? Okay, I said 2.5.
I told you to give me confidence.
10? Good for you. Stomping all over those guys.
You fired me up. You start talking about the defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get news
Brock
soon
Purdy
on when exactly that game will be. Sometimes they announce it during
What do you
Sunday Night
guess,
Football.
though? What do you
Sometimes
guess on that? Do you think that's a Saturday or a Sunday?
Well, they have the Flyers have a game Saturday night. I don't know if that will end up affecting it or not. So I think it might be the Sunday middle afternoon game.
Yeah.
Might be my guess.
4 o'clock?
Sunday, 4 o'clock?
Yeah. 49ers, Eagles, absolutely. Yeah.
Could be Saturday night.
Fair. 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I guess it could be Sunday night, too.
Get ready. Get ready. Oof. That's going to be a good game, though.
It's going to be a very good game. All right. We have a lot more to get to. Your Super Chats, Fran Duffy, EJ Smith, all that good stuff. Vinny's Beef of the Week. It's all coming up next. But it'll be first, Fran, after these words from some sponsors. Transform your home with 2026 offers on our favorite looks at Ashley's New Year's sale. Discover hot buys for every room in your home starting at just $299, and you can ring in the new year with new styles today and pay over time with 60-month special financing on in-store purchases. Don't miss out. Shop the season's must-have looks at Ashley's New Year's sale. Tell them we sent you.
Everybody's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can and read what's in it? Maybe you haven't. Maybe you should. Well, maybe you can't because they don't tell you. And while they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar, no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. It's time to celebrate your sports teams, how you're feeling. You need the right beverage for that. Crooked Tea is the right one for you. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real. So why drink the fake stuff? You don't do that. Crooked Tea, the only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. CrookedTea.com. Make sure you find that Crooked Tea at a store nearest you.
Should all acquaintance be forgot? And get yourself some new furniture at Ashley with a New Year's sale. Transform your home for 2026 with great offers on our favorite looks at Ashley's New Year's sale. Discover hot buys for every room in your home starting at just $299, and you can ring in the new year with new styles today and pay over time with 60 months special financing on in-store purchases. Don't miss out. Shop the season's must-have looks at Ashley's New Year's sale. Back in the Xfinity studio on the PHLY Eagles postgame show as the Eagles fumble away. The 2 seed will be the 3 seed against the San Francisco 49ers. Bo Wulf, Vinny Curry, Devon Givens. And we head now to Fran's Film Room, presented by Ashley, and bring in the man himself, Fran Duffy, to talk about this game. Fran, how are you?
Fran,
What's going on, guys? How's everything?
what's going on?
What up, friend?
How do you feel about everything you just watched? And how do you feel about Ross Tucker during this broadcast proclaiming himself the world's foremost expert on Eagles backups?
Multiple times.
I mean, honestly, I should be asking you that question because I feel like you are the preeminent expert on Eagles backups.
Well, I can think of like 5 people who I would say are in the running. The professor. I mean, come on. Spit in my face, Ross, and tell me it's raining. What is going on here?
I mean, a friend of the show. I can confidently say Ross Tucker is a friend of the show. So I'm sure
we like Ross. We like everything he does. He's good to Josh and all that good stuff.
We can give him some some trash talk on that one a little bit.
Unbelievable. Anyway, what did you make of what you saw out there today, Fran? And we talked earlier in the week. We were in favor of them benching the guys. Do you second guess that, having seen how it all played out today?
I mean, it's hard not to second guess it. I do think it was the right decision. It's more frustrating that this game was still there for the taking.
Yep.
Like that's the frustrating part of it, is that you still walk away saying, man, like they should have won this game. Like they to me, like they had more talent on the field. It was just undisciplined. I agree with Vinny in terms of just like watching the guy. Like it was just uninspiring from that standpoint. But I think to me, like watching like penalty after penalty after, they ended up being double-digit penalties, right, guys? I mean, how many DPIs and defensive holdings on the back end?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, 9 penalties on the Eagles for 123 yards.
Look real lazy out there.
And look, we can laugh about it, but the AJ Dillon decision, it's mind blowing.
I'm not laughing.
If he had, I know, but I'm saying, like, I think that a lot of people might think that it's like a bit.
Yeah,
it's not a bit.
It's not a bit.
When you're looking at this, if AJ Dillon had 20 carries tonight, I'd be like, okay, like I get it. But he had 2 touches or whatever it was, and he got lined up at fullback on a play.
It's 2 or 3 snaps in the game.
What is the purpose? What is his value on the roster? Don't tell me it's the positivity bunny. Like there's got to be something else that he's bringing to the table. So to me, it
could have been Patrick Johnson or Gabe Hall, and then all of a sudden you've got a little bit of defensive line depth. Could have been Andre Sam, and then you don't have to throw Mac McWilliams out there, who you clearly don't want to be out there. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and Ross Tucker called it out on the broadcast, was saying like this defensive line is gassed because they're used to playing with a deeper rotation. So you see like Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith and Jalyx Hunt out there like all sucking wind, and I'm like, man, like, because that's when the risk for injury happens, is when you're that fatigued. Man, that's a head scratching decision.
All right, what did you make of Tanner McKee?
Yeah, not his best day. I do think that there's the element of, who he's playing with and things like that, and that can lower the expectations there. But obviously he missed some throws. Some of it was the fact that he was under duress for a good portion of the night. He's not a quarterback that you want bodies in his face over and over and over again. So the fact that was the issue that he faced throughout the course of the night, that did not bode well. But there were certainly some throws that I'm sure he would like to have back. There was the one where he's got to set his feet and he threw it behind Britton Covey late in the game. And even then, like, look, that's a shallow crossing route on 1st and 10, but that's a drive starter. Like, all right, you get a little bit of momentum and get things rolling. But I do think there were some throws that he certainly would like to have back.
Yeah, I mean, throwing the final pass out of bounds is very funny. Like,
right, it's very upsetting to see Josh Johnson outplay Tanner McKee. Listen, Josh Johnson's my man. And, he cool dude, great dude. Man. He's been in the league for, he obviously brings value to the league. It's hard to make but we talk about Tanner McKee. Yeah. Like, it's just.
I mean, he did have McLaurin and Debo just getting held. Like,
just throw it up. Just throw the ball up.
I think since we have started, Jakorian Bennett got flagged again.
It's just damn.
Yeah, Fran.
I did not, Bo. I did not bring the Tanner McKee interception to the end of the first half. I was trying to find they showed the all 22 on the broadcast, but that did not make its way into social, so I couldn't find that to grab some screen grabs of that. I have a little feeling in the back of my mind that might have been a bad route. Or the wrong route from Jahan Dotson on that play. It looked like it was a version potentially. Look, it's one of two concepts. They either ran a double post route in which Dotson made the right route and McKee made the wrong throw.
Right.
Or Dotson was supposed to run a dig and it was supposed to be kind of a version of a dagger concept where he's supposed to run the dig route from the backside instead. And that's where McKee kind of threw it. There was a route underneath it that typically would be run with dagger. So I do have a kind of a sneaking suspicion that Dotson may have run the wrong route on that play, and McKee put it to the spot where he thought his receiver was going to be. But that was a throw that I wish I would have liked to be able to break that down here on the show, but unfortunately couldn't get the right angle.
Tanner went off on Coop. He ran the wrong route. He said, "What are you doing?"
Well, I thought it was Latu.
Was it Latu?
I thought it was Latu.
He was yelling at somebody. He
Could
was
have been
pissed.
wrong. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't happy about the Cooper penalty either, which that is fair. Although the refs today were also playing in a Week 18 game. One good throw he did make, and we talked about this when he does have good receivers on the field, was the big catch to Devonta to get to Devonta over 1,000 yards. When you break that bad boy down for us?
Yeah, this one in Lindsay, this is going to be Devonta 1. So this is a play where they come out, it's 3rd and 1, and it's a condensed formation. So you've got everybody tight in between the hash marks. You see, that's a really tight formation there, and Washington is going to respond in kind in this kind of situation. We saw that a couple weeks ago, how often we're going to match with base defense, base personnel, and we're going to load the box. We're not going to let you run the ball on us. And so the Eagles come in, tight bodies, and they say, all right, we're going to bring everybody in as if we're going to run, but we're actually going to throw out of this look. And so if you go to the next shot here, you can see that Tanner McKee gets the snap, he drops back. Devonta Smith kind of slow plays this route. And again, because it's 10 guys close to the line of scrimmage, that means it's just one single high safety. So this is going to end up being a corner route. If we go to the next shot here, Lindsay, this is going to end up being a corner route where Devonta initially kind of stutters and slow plays it as if he's going to block, and then he's going to take off, run towards the middle of the field, and then break back towards the sideline. The goal is keep the safety in the middle of the field, and you can see that corner, he's late to react. He thinks that this might be a run, so now he kind of reacts to Devonta early on, and he ends up being a little bit late on this throw, and now you can get to see that if we go to the last shot here, Tanner just lays this ball up, and Devonta does what he does best. You see the body control and the finishing ability down the field. So he's able to break 1,000 yards. Obviously, that was the goal coming in, was for him to break 1,000 yards. They did this back in his rookie season in 2021 as well. He and A.J. Brown, the only duo in Eagles history to ever hit 1,000 yards. Both guys hit 1,000 yards in the same season, and they've now done it 3 years in a row. So good on Devonta being able to hit that milestone here and have a jacket on by the end of the first quarter.
There you go. And you know what? We can complain, but that scene there after he gets that catch, and Nick is talking to him, AJ comes over, they're like, that was great. That was fun. Good for him.
Bo, be honest, did you hold your breath when he hit the ground? I did.
Yeah, but he always hits the ground.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but it's like that Allen Iverson effect. Like back in the day, he used to hit the damn wood so hard, but hit the ground so hard. But
Vinny, we on the Anthony Gargano show on Friday with Bill, we did some Philly sports to wrestler comparisons. You know what I have for Devonta?
Ooh.
Devonta is an unbelievable technician. Knows the space better than anybody. Devonta is the excellence of execution.
Brett the Hitman Hart.
Yes. You like that?
I like that.
And a guy who is you can tell that he can be a star, but this is like early. This is like Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart before Hogan leaves.
No.
Hogan's AJ.
I love it.
When you know what? I believe that Devonta, if given the ball, can be the number one guy.
I love it. Yeah, I like. That's actually a great comparison. He's not gonna really say too much. Just cut his little promo, do his job, and go
Best
home.
there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Yeah, I like that.
I did want him to get right out of the game after he hit that ground, though.
He did. He was ready to go.
Get out.
All right. Speaking of awesome plays, Fran, let's talk about Jalyx Hunt. 3 interceptions for edge guy is insane. it's, no Eagle has done that in recent history. Obviously, no one's had more than one. What did you see on? And this one was the most like, this is him tapping into his safety background that we've seen of the three.
Yeah, no question. I honestly, I want to look because doesn't he also lead the team in sacks?
Yep. He got
yeah,
6
you're
sacks,
right.
3 interceptions.
You lead the team in sacks.
Last
and
person to do that
interceptions.
was Seth Joyner.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's some Seth Joyner stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's take a look at this one. So this will be Lindsey Jalyx 1, and basically what you're going to see here, the Eagles or the Commanders come out. They're actually in 11 personnel, it looks like, but for the Eagles choose to match this set in their base defense. So you see 5 guys down the line of scrimmage. You got 2 off-ball backers, 4 DBs on the field on 2nd and long, and you see that this is Deebo Samuel coming in motion from left to right. Now, because you've got those 5 guys out in the field, unless you're going to blitz all 5, which the Eagles will do from time to time, unless you're going to rush all 5 of these guys, one of them's got to drop. And so you've got Josh Uche at the top, you've got Jalyx Hunt down at the bottom, and it ends up being Jalyx Hunt that's going to drop in coverage. If you go to the next shot, you can see Jalyx drops off into the flat. He's got eyes on Deebo Samuel. He can't let him get outside because he's dropping as a curl flat player and underneath zone coverage. And so he's got to be wider than Deebo Samuel. You can't let him get outside of him. So he's got eyes on Deebo Samuel. He's going to track him out towards the sideline. Josh Johnson off the play fake. He's looking down the field, but that's taken away. Whatever the coverage was in the back end, did a good job against that vertical concept. Now, up front with that 4-man rush, the Eagles are actually running a long 3-man stunt. If we go to the next shot here, you can see that Uche, he's slanting inside. Byron Young is gonna loop around outside, and he's gonna loop around the defensive team. So it's a 3-man game on the inside. And Uche, he's gonna get home to try and impact Josh Johnson. Then Byron Young is gonna get there right in the quarterback's face. So if you go to the next shot, you can see that Josh Johnson, very late after he doesn't like what he sees downfield, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go to my dump off. I'm gonna go hit this to the flat to Deebo Samuel. But Jalyx Hunt is there the whole way. Did an outstanding job. We can go to the last shot. Jalyx Hunt was sitting there, laying away, and the ground replay, like from the you call it from the podium camera, like in the end zone, that just had it was basically ISO'd on Jalyx. I mean, you just see like him break on the ball. You mentioned it, Bo, like the tapping into that former college safety in the Ivy League at Cornell, breaking on that ball, diving interception. Just an unbelievably athletic play for a guy with his size, with his length. Just an awesome play from Jalyx Hunt.
All right. Now, if we transition to not awesome plays, let's break down the play that Devon and I talked about earlier. The game-winning touchdown run by Josh Johnson. What is Kelee Ringo doing?
All right, so let's look at what he's done. So, to me, when I'm looking at this play, this is a classic case of, and again, I'm not making excuses for him because he's now with his year. This is year 4 for Kelee. He's been in the league long enough, but this is a classic case of like you're thinking so fast that the game, or you're thinking so slowly that the game is happening too fast for you. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here on this play. Lindsey, this is Kelee 1. You're down on the goal line. It's 3rd and goal. You see Kelee Ringo here at the bottom of your screen. Now on this play, if we go to the next shot, he's the force player on this play. That means he is responsible for that outside gap, that furthest gap outside if this ball is handed off. If it's a run play, that's his responsibility, is that gap. Now, the ball is not handed off, obviously. Josh Johnson keeps this and he rolls off to his left. So, in my opinion, Kelee is like, okay, is it run or pass? Is it run or pass? Is it run? You see this at linebacker, you see this nickel corner, you see the safety, and then at times, especially in a situation like this in a confined area, you see this with a corner where is it run or pass? I have to key and diagnose this quickly, and then I've got to figure out, oh, what's my run responsibility? Oh, what's my pass game responsibility? Right away, if we go to this shot, he's trying to be a football player.
He reads it so well.
Like, oh, yeah, I gotta get out to the flat. I gotta defend here against Josh Johnson. But then he's like, oh crap, it's a pass. I'm responsible for technically for the deep third here. And so that's why he turns around, because he's like, run, pass. Oh man, I gotta get back and make the play. So that to me, like, and we praised, it was literally last week, Zach Bond, and it wasn't the same situation, but was kind of caught, and we said, like, in that no man's land on that 4th and 1 stop down on the goal line against Josh Allen, where it's like, oh, do I go after him or do I stay in coverage? Do I stay? And he played it perfectly. Instinctive football player, like football player, go make a football play. This one obviously goes the other way for the Eagles.
And I definitely thought the instinctual football play of the football player was first doing what he was doing, was that first reading it, attack it, and just hope that he's getting the help that as it's all funneling that way, that his teammates have his back, which they did. Because again, Fran, when you talked about it, he turns around, his teammate is right there with him though, with the receiver. And I understand that this is a quick read and react, and you turn, and Jaylon Johnson is already going downhill. So you're probably going to lose at that point. But he had already retreated in the way that he did, which was so frustrating. And look, it all added up to that particular play after all the bad things that happened to lead up to that moment. But as all the things just started to crumble, that was the final one that we see out there on the field.
Listen, that's one of those, keep shooting. Just shoot your shot.
Yep.
It's going to be what it's going to be at the end of that.
Turn your brain off.
Yeah, dude, you already gave up some big play.
Yeah.
Just shoot your, go get it. Shoot your shot. That right there would have been a game-saving thing. We wouldn't even be talking about the interception like the way we talking about it right now. I mean, the passing interference, the way we talking about it.
Especially
right
if you hold him to a field goal and you give yourself an opportunity. Yeah.
No, the truth, Fran, is that we will sort of wipe this game from our memory pretty quickly and turn our attention to the matchup next weekend. What are your early impressions in your mind of this matchup between the Eagles and Niners?
Look, this defense for San Francisco has been one of the league's worst in the second half of the year. I mean, the injuries have absolutely taken their toll. It's not a good unit. That said, we've said that about a lot of the defenses that the Eagles' offense has faced down the stretch during that same span of time. You know, when they played against the Raiders, they played against Washington. We talked about the opportunity they had against Buffalo, and they haven't been able to run it efficiently over a four-quarter stretch. And the pass game has been a roller coaster for much of the season, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. So I don't look at this as like, oh, man, this is a great opportunity here for the Eagles. They're going up against the San Francisco defense. Now, you asked me on the show on Friday, what's the best kind of defense for them to face?
Yeah.
This is, of the options available, this was the best defense for them to face, in my opinion. Like schematically, like personnel-wise, this is the best matchup
because
for the Eagles offense.
Static pre-snap.
Yeah, you kind of know what you're going to get, but I don't have, it's just, what offense is going to show up? Is it going to be an offense that's been better than what we've seen in the second half of the year? On the other side of it, I'm excited to break this one down, and I'm excited to dig into the X's and O's of, Vic Fangio versus Kyle Shanahan. That offense has played well, despite the fact that, they don't have a title. It's not the star power we saw from 4 years ago when you had Debo at the peak of his powers with Brandon Ayuk on the upswing, and you had George Kittle in his prime, and McCaffrey just got traded for McCaffrey is it's almost like a ticking time bomb, unfortunately. And then you look at Juszczyk, he's not quite the same player. Kittle has been banged up. Pearsall has been in and out of the lineup, and he's their number one receiver. Jawan Jennings has been banged up for much of the year. Ayuk is obviously not on this team right now. So it's not the same from a talent standpoint. I will say that Brock Purdy is better now than he has been in years past. And Kyle Shanahan is Kyle Shanahan. He's one of the best schemers in football. So I do think that this is going to be a really fun X's and O's battle. It's going to be a matter of, can the Eagles offense keep pace well enough? I expect the Eagles, I don't expect San Francisco to come to town and put up, 28 points or 35 points. I would be surprised if that was the final outcome. I do think though, it's going to be a test to see if this Eagles offense is up to the challenge.
Well,
go ahead.
What as you run down the 4 years ago 49ers with all those names, I immediately go to the current Eagles offensive players, the skilled players of Brown, Smith, Barkley, and Goddard, to your point, of all of them. And San Francisco's defense, they have to stop them now. And they're coming across country. They're going to be in a tough environment and could, as you just said, maybe they can't put up the 24, 28 points and keep up with the Eagles. Now it's just a matter of fact of, can the Eagles, like we saw last playoff run, turn it up when they get to this part of the year in January when everything matters most?
Yeah, we've been keeping the door open for that
Exactly.
possibility that just, hey, you know what? It's week 19 and we've got our identity now, guys. I don't know. You hope that that's the case if you're an Eagles fan, but I think at the end of the day, I right now have my doubts if that's going to happen, just because I feel like we would have seen that. But if you Frankenstein what we've seen over the last, we'll say 4 or 5 weeks, and say all right, they take the QB run game from the shotgun and some of the empty stuff and the under center play action, and they get some chunk plays, and Lane Johnson returns, and Dallas Goedert has a week of rest, and Saquon Barkley has a week of rest, and AJ Brown has a week of rest. all right, let's roll. Like, is that enough to get them to 24 points, to get them to 27 points? And if you do that, I feel a lot better about their prospects to win not just this game, but the next round and potentially the round after that. Like that, to me, then they're cooking with gas. I just don't know if that's in them. I think I'm in wait and see mode right now.
All right, Fran. Well, we look forward to talking to you about the matchup on the PHLY Eagles show this week. I think the schedule is going to be Wednesday and Thursday for you, so we look forward to that. Thank you for breaking this down. We'll talk to you later.
What should we do? Should we do offense, the Eagles offense versus the San Francisco defense on Wednesday, or we go opposite? How are we starting this?
Well, what do you need more time for? Probably the good version, right?
Yeah, probably. Well, the thing is, I'll probably be more excited. Also, I'll start that one first. Is the only thing.
Okay. You tell me. You can lead the way.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go Eagles defense, 49ers offense first.
On Wednesday.
We'll do that Wednesday.
All right. We look forward to that. That'll do it for Fran's Film Room presented by Ashley. We take a quick break now. On the other side, we'll get Vinny's Beef of the Week. We'll do a little Ace Hardware temperature check. We will hear from you in the Super Chats. And then pretty soon we'll hear from EJ Smith, who has talked to players, and Nick Sirianni after the Eagles' ugly 24-17 loss to the Commanders. Look right here. Look at this beautiful piece of artwork for the Eagles fan in your life. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from our friend Jordan Spector. Jordan Spector Art. Spector Sports Art. It's the season for gifting, and if you are looking for something truly unforgettable this year, this is the perfect idea. You can go to SpectorSportsArt.com. You can see for yourself how awesome this is, the attention to detail. There's also the trading cards he does with extra attention to detail. There's the BG one that has a piece of his jersey in it and a bunch of other deals. Amazing stuff. There's prints, there's canvases, there's even athlete-partnered trading cards, as we just talked about. So if you've got a diehard sports fan in your life, or you just want to treat yourself, this is the gift that people will be talking about forever. Head over right now to SpectorSportsArt.com. That's SpectorSportsArt.com, and grab something epic for the Philly sports fan in your life.
What kind of dreams did you have as a kid growing up? What did you really want to be when you decided, you know what, when I become an adult, I'm going to do this? Well, for me, I told you before, I wanted a sports bar and I wanted a sneaker store. Maybe me and Vinny can get our own sneaker store. We'll talk about that later. But if we're going to sell online, we got to go to the right people, and that's Shopify at Shopify, of course, .com, because they are the greatest right here at PHLY. Shopify powers the PHLY merch store where you can get all the great things there to represent us as the fans that you are here at PHLY. So how about now? Thinking about starting your own business? Shopify is the e-commerce platform. Millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Turn your big business idea into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Cha-ching!
Back in the PHLY Eagles post-game show, Vinny Curry, Devon Givens. Vinny, it's time now for the Righteous Felon Beef of the Week.
Love
which
this
you're going to
segment.
give to the offensive or defensive lineman of the game.
I gotta go with the obvious.
I think you got to.
58.
He's hunting.
Unbelievable. Sacks and interceptions.
Baby.
Trent Cole.
Man, I'm telling you, you know what? I told you. I said I don't understand why you don't do that.
Yeah.
I will bring the move back out. First, I will okay with
Get Trent.
the hunter first, but a good C-58 still rolling around out there. See some similarities in there. You ever talk to Trent before? You be like, bro, you should have saw me in coverage.
Really?
Bro.
That's very funny.
Oh man, Tico. You know
I mean, I love T. Cole.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got that. Yeah, I don't know if he's got that in his bag.
I'm bringing it back out. If it's not final, is that fine now? Like, I don't think you could do that
As the celebration?
Maybe not. You might be right.
Yeah. I think that might be cool.
I'm gonna see. I need to look up some Jalyx Hunt numbers here, and I will get back to you on that.
Yeah,
because
he
I
was
think
rolling,
there's a chance
man.
that this is a very special
third
season that he's put
interception,
together.
He's very impactful in that game today.
Had the fumble recovery.
From a recovery, and it's like, man, like I said before, you see a guy go from safety to playing defensive end in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And what he has done in his short career so far is amazing. So you are my
Beef of the week.
Sir.
I feel like that's multiple for Jalyx, which is well deserved.
Yeah, it definitely is multiple for him.
Very impressive season.
Even though we forgot our cow noise.
Yeah. Shout out to Jamie, who's under the weather.
Okay, yeah.
That's okay.
I didn't have that one ready. I apologize.
That's okay.
I already got called out for calling Josh Johnson, Jalen Johnson. My bad. Basketball in the mind.
Oh, come on.
Triple doubles. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry, John.
Let's check out some of the super chats that we have here for us. Fresh Prince says, why did Will Shipley run out of bounds when he caught the swing pass before the 2-minute warning? Reminded me of those Miles Sanders runs from years ago. We were screaming about that too.
Yeah, we were.
Felt like he had like 25 more yards to
He
go
had
get.
blocking right in front of him, and he ran out of bounds. And look, we were talking, all right, trying to get, maybe he was trying to save some time on the clock. But man, you had some time. You had blocking right in front of you. No need to run out of bounds. Puzzling. That was a puzzling.
Totally agree. Matthew Greenwood. I finally understand why Adoree Jackson had such a long leash. Got to be at least 100 yards in DPI. Yeah, I mean, that was nuts. 2 killer ones in the end zone. Then the drive started on Kelee, which was like 40 yards downfield. That was ugly.
No wonder they traded for Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that was bad.
Pat Phoenix. Biggest takeaway. Whether it's Hurts, McKee, starters, backups, doesn't matter. The Eagles' offense is poorly coached and poorly managed. I don't know if they're beating the allegations in this game in particular.
No.
Ugly stuff.
Even with the backups. No.
Next up, Joseph Lynch. McLaurin's favorite song must be the Cranberries' Zombie because whichever DB he was matched up with, he was in their head, zombie, 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 be. He was also doing a lot of whining, but I guess he was interfered with. Go Birds! Hi from Hawaii! Aloha! 49ers going to be tough. Birds have had the Packers' number, lost opportunity. Kelee Ringo is embarrassing given his natural talent. That's tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Ringo was his name. Oh.
Devon Stepp. Underthrown DPI really rustles my jimmies. If you can't throw it far enough, maybe you don't deserve the yards. Bring on the playoffs. Go Birds. That's a fun take.
The issue, though, is none of them turn their heads around on
That's
any of those.
But if you turn your head around, it's not PI.
Right.
That come with experience.
None of them.
That's
Right.
why I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Right,
Just
right.
get your head around, and none of it's PI, and we ain't even talking about this. Damn it, man.
River Mama. If Eagles, can't do anything against terrible San Francisco D, they deserve to lose. Well, that is true.
They will
If
lose.
they can't put up
26.
24 points at least, they deserve to lose that game. I agree. Brandon Ekstrom. A year of cowardice slowly nears its end. Let's keep all our hopes down, and maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. Nick and KP are mark-ass busters.
It must be from the West Coast.
Yeah, because that's impossible.
Not just that. I'm just saying it sounds like DJ.
Right.
DJ talk.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Right.
Skunk Riley
impossible.
with a very generous super chat. Thank you, Skunk Riley.
Skunk.
Says Sirianni is an absolute buffoon. He's Barry Switzer Part 2. He arrested his starters. Okay, I didn't like it, but I could kind of understand. And he has his second string quarterback go shotgun on 4th and 1 and was allergic to running early. An absolute buffoon. I really did. I hated we talked about it on the halftime show, the 3rd and 4th down play calls.
Yeah.
If you're going to go for it on 4th down, run it on 3rd down. If you're going to pass it on 3rd down, maybe you do take the points.
The other play was, remember when he went for it on, 3rd and 3, and he threw it to Cooper out of bounds, deep in the left side of the end zone? I just didn't like the play call right there, 3rd and 3.
Let me ask you this.
Take that shot.
On the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1, do you try to do your best versions without the starters tush push?
I think it went a little bit far. It was like a yard and a half.
I was just simple with give the ball to Bigsby.
Yeah, Bigsby didn't get the ball enough.
Just give him the Bigsby.
I don't think he had a touch in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Scott Gallupo, not going to sweat this loss. If we're worried about the schedule merchant Niners at home, then our aspirations aren't realistic. Have a little faith. I think that is right. If you can't beat the Niners at home, you don't have it anyway.
Don't disagree.
Ball don't lie. Yeah.
Yeah, don't disagree. However, again, we saw what you needed to happen happened, and you just simply didn't take advantage of the opportunity. So
all right, here's my Jalyx Hunt stat for you
we go.
that I've just cooked up. In this century, since 2000, only 5 players have had more sacks while also having 3 interceptions than Jalyx Hunt in a season. Aiden Hutchinson in 2022 had 9.5. Joey Porter in 2002 had 9. This season, actually, Laiatu Latu has 8.5 and 3 interceptions. And then you've got Jamie Collins and Levante David, who both had 7. Then you get to Jalyx at 6.5. So it is he's in impressive company, mostly with like linebackers like Dansby, Urlacher, Clay Matthews, guys like that, Lawrence Timmons. It's a hell of a season.
That's good company to be a part of too.
Yeah,
I like that.
Not bad. All right, do we have our man, Lindsay? Let's send it to the Xfinity Mobile call-in line and bring in the great Eagles insider, the man himself, E.J. Smith.
Ooh, I forgot I was going to take my jacket off for the hit. So, yeah, now I was in my head about the fashion photo.
Do the pants instead.
Wait a minute, it's cold outside. Keep the
Bo
jacket
Allen
on.
style. I'll be all right. You know, it's good for you.
Oh, you look good. You look
EJ.
great, EJ. Let's send it over to EJ's notebook.
All right. So first and foremost, I know the big topic of discussion after this game is going to be Nick Sirianni's decision to rest the starters. Obviously, it did backfire. The result backfired on them here, with the Bears losing and the Eagles really not being able to grasp the number 2 seed, even though, again, it was within grasp for them. Nick Sirianni said after the game that he's going to stick with his process. He kept harping on the fact that the Eagles, the majority of the Eagles starters will be able to go into the postseason healthy. And that was the priority for them going into this week, getting these guys a rest, like paring it down in practice and then obviously in this game. So Nick Sirianni really stuck with, again, that decision, talking about the process, not the result necessarily. And secondly, I think, talking to players, they really backed up what Nick Sirianni had to say there. Devonta Smith, I thought, put it best when he said, we don't care what the path is. They don't care about the fact that they're the number 3 seed instead of the number 2 seed. Obviously, they would have had a more favorable situation as the number 2 seed, both in the wildcard matchup and then the potential to host a playoff game or, to have the NFC run through their stadium. So a big missed opportunity. But again, the players really harped on the importance of getting rest and not caring about the result here that happened today in terms of the seeding. And then lastly, just some quick 49ers reaction. Being in the Eagles locker room, you saw guys finding out in real time. Some of them were asking us who they were going to play in the playoffs. And, the initial reaction is that they're going to have to stop and account for Christian McCaffrey in the 49ers run game. It's crazy to think that the Eagles and 49ers kind of haven't played each other, since Dre Greenlaw and Big Dom had their dust up 2 years ago. So, it should be an interesting matchup. I kind of agree with you guys that I think that this wasn't the worst case scenario for the Eagles. I think that they should be favored in that game. But, definitely the initial reaction is about the 49ers' talent on offense and their run game in particular.
Yeah, almost the worst fallback domino here would be if the Bears lose to the Packers, and that then sends the Rams to the LINC in the second round. But even then, that was a possible first-round matchup. If you can't win that game in the second round at home, so be it.
Yeah, no, listen, I do think that the 2 seed, I think it is significant. I'm not trying to hand wave it, but at the same time, I understand that the result backfired on them, but I still understand the decision that they made. And I'm not the type. It's funny. I was talking to another reporter about this, and they said, well, if the Eagles made a bad draft pick, would you evaluate it, based off the process or the result? And I'd say honestly, I usually would evaluate it off the process.
Yes.
And this is the same thing where I understood the decision that they made to rest the starters. I think the Eagles players were really in favor of it, at the very least. Maybe not pushing for it, but I think a lot of guys saw the benefit of it. So I think that while it was like, it hung in the balance all night, and I understand why fans are frustrated, I still do get why the Eagles made the choice that they did to kind of let guys reset before the postseason starts.
Yeah, and in a way, blaming the decision to rest the starters takes the coaching staff off the hook for putting a bad game plan together. Like,
yeah,
go out and win the game with the guys you have.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me. We spent a lot of time before this game talking about, how telling it was going to be how the Eagles approach this game offensively. And, a lot of the same things that really plagued them throughout the season were apparent today. Obviously it looked a little bit different. I was curious from you guys, but I don't know if you've looked it up yet. The under center number that kind of felt anecdotally like they ran a little bit more under center, but overall, like, it seemed like there were miscommunications in the pass game on some of the concepts, and just kind of an inconsistent, unreliable run game, and really just they've not been a success rate team all year, and they really weren't today either. And then I guess it's also not all that surprising that, like, up front they weren't able to really get consistent play from those guys. Obviously they had injuries, but again, these are all things that have really been a factor all season. It's not like the flip switched with Tanner McKee. I know that that sounds a little silly, but we have seen examples of the Eagles offense looking significantly different with McKee in that limited sample size. So I thought the fact that it looked a lot the same, it really was kind of reinforcing a lot of the concerns that people are going to have going into the playoffs about this Eagles offense.
This is early. These sometimes change on True Media. But right after the game, it actually has it as under center at only 22.5%, which is just below their season average, and would be like below the median. So that was a little bit lower. But the play action numbers were that was obvious. It looks like it was the second highest play action they've had in a game this season.
From under center or just in general?
Total. Under center and shotgun.
Okay, yeah, I've been telling you guys last couple of weeks, I think that the coaching staff is really bullish on this play action game. Again, I do think that this is, even though it didn't look a whole lot different, I think that this was like a truth serum game for the coaching staff, because when you have Tanner McKee in there, he's really going to be comfortable with most concepts that they want to run. And he doesn't have as much maybe carte blanche to say, I don't want this concept in the plan this week. So I think that we saw like what the Eagles coaching staff wants it to look like. And I think it's up to debate whether or not that's a good thing or not.
Who else did you talk to in the locker room, EJ? What did you learn?
Yeah, so we heard from, actually, really quick, I wanted to note this. We heard from Tanner McKee. I asked him about the route concepts on his interception. He said that it wasn't a miscommunication or, a mix-up on the routes. He said that it was basically him trying to do too much. He said he was trying to get too much back in one play. He knew the coverage, he knew the call, and he just made a bad decision. So that one surprised me because it's a pretty uncharacteristic thing from Tanner McKee to see him do that. But no, we heard from Devonta Smith after the game. Like I said earlier, he said they don't care what the path is. I think he harped on the importance of staying healthy and being able to go into this postseason run healthy. I don't know if it really needs explaining, but he said that the 1,000 yards was significant for him for the reason it is for everybody. He said it's a number that a lot of receivers obviously value, and he appreciated that he got the chance to get that before being out the game there in the first quarter.
Any feedback or discussion of sort of the flag show that the secondary put on display?
So I do not believe Kelee Ringo spoke. I don't know if Jakorian Bennett did because I left for Tanner, and then I left and I stayed for Nick. Tanner went more quickly than Jalen usually does, so I didn't get to hang around. But I do think that is like the very acute. You feel it very acutely, the decision to rest the starters, when you think about the fact that Jakorian Bennett had 2 pass interference penalties in the end zone. Basically gives Washington 14 points there, and obviously Kelee Ringo just had a really, really tough game. It feels like this year, like Kelee Ringo, it feels almost like it's just gotten progressively worse and worse for him.
Yeah.
Like in training camp, you could he had good days and bad days, and now it's just like it seems like he's just devoid of confidence, and it's sad because I know that he's a player who would really thrive if he could figure out some of this technique stuff and some of this confidence stuff. So, but again, the fact that it's like that those two, like the way that they played, I mean, you really can like tangibly feel the effect of starting the backups in this game because of the play you got at cornerback. You know, if you just told me, even Adoree Jackson, if you told me Adoree Jackson was out there today, they probably win that game. So I think the fact that those two specifically, you know, had such a big impact, I really do. I feel like, again, it really does put that decision in the forefront.
Well, let me read you some snap counts, EJ, and you tell me what jumps out to you about another thing that could have changed the outcome of this game. Defense, 63, all 63 for Sidney Brown, Jakorian Bennett, Kelee Ringo, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who I did think had a pretty nice game. 60 for Michael Carter Jr. Now we're going to get into some players who are going to have to actually play in the playoffs. 56 for Jahad Campbell, 49 for Byron Young, 46 for Ty Robinson, that's fine. 37 for Josh Uche, that's fine. 33 for Moro Ojimo, 32 for Jalyx Hunt, 31 for Jordan Davis, 31 for Nolan Smith, 26 for Brandon Graham, and on offense, 2 snaps for A.J. Dillon. 2!
That one jumps out. It does jump out. You know, it's like if you're going to rest the starters, you should have a defensive lineman. You know, Nick talked a lot about that actually during the press conference. Like, you know, the defensive linemen, they played a good amount because that's just kind of the nature of the position is that, you know, you're going to have to play your guys and you can only rotate that so much. But you're right. I mean, if you're going to make it a Tank Bigsby game, you could have had a defensive lineman in place of A.J. Dillon. So, no, I mean, because when you're reading out the snap counts, I'm like, well, they played a lot of the guys up front. Like, could they have just played one of Adoree Jackson? Or, I mean, I don't think you play Quinyon Mitchell in this game. And honestly, even saying that, like, if Adoree Jackson gets hurt,
no, yeah, I think you actually saw why they couldn't afford to play Adoree Jackson in this game.
Exactly. No, I completely agree. But yeah, no, it did feel more like a half measure on defense because they did play so many of the guys up front. And to your point, yeah, it was a waste of a roster spot. Not to be rude or, you know, not to be callous here, but I think if you're only going to play A.J. Dillon 2 snaps, I don't understand why he has the roster spot for a game like this.
So, EJ, last year's path, as you talk about the path, was totally different. Number 1 seed, they were hot going in. And this year, they win these last 3 in a row before today. And you were around them during the week and tonight saying how they feel. Do you see any similarities to as far as confidence-wise? And I know they beat up on the Raiders and they beat up on Washington in Washington. But getting those 3 wins after having that tough losing streak, do you see it all coming back to them, at least as we get ready for the first playoff game?
Yeah, on defense, absolutely. You know, it feels a lot like last year where they really started to play their best ball in the second half, and there's a swagger and a confidence from that group. Offensively, it feels similar to last year in that they have not played well going into the playoffs, and I think that there's still at least an outward confidence that they express about their ability to turn this around offensively. You know, Devonta said, you know, that it's, you know, once they get in the playoffs, he does have confidence because there's no time for mistakes. You know, it's you know, win or go home, and the urgency will be there for that group. I would argue the urgency has been there for them most of the season because, you know, they've talked a lot about some of these issues that they've had. So, I mean, they've done it before offensively. You know, it hasn't quite been this drastic. You know, they were more productive and more efficient last year, even though it didn't look great at times. But I do think that you've seen the formula. You know, I wrote earlier this week about like the Eagles offense needs to be like a moment's offense in the playoffs. You know, they have enough talent where I think they can pull that off. I think that they can string together drives in tight games against good teams still, because you look across the lineup and you think, okay, these guys can make plays. But at the same time, like consistency, reliability, like those have not been words you'd associate with the Eagles offense. And I think that it is similar to last year, but maybe not in the way that people would think because of, you know, the fact that they kind of put it together in the postseason really did color the way that we view that group. So they didn't really have that like Steelers game, I guess, you know, from last year where it's like, so that's what y'all wanted to see, huh? But again, I think it'll only take one game in the playoffs for them to really be able to put something together offensively.
All right, AJ, what are you going to be writing about for the Diehards to read on allphly.com?
I'm going to do some quick fire takeaways, what we learned, if anything, from this game. You know, we'll unpack Nick Sirianni's decision. But, you know, again, I think there were some slight things that we talked about here today. That I do think the game was educational at certain times. I'll be honest with you guys. I did not expect to be like, you know, at the gun, like writing my like quick takeaways. I thought I'd have that bad boy filed by like the midway through the third quarter. I'd be looking at hotels, you know, for whatever potential road playoff games we'd be planning for. You know, that was it was more stressful than I thought it was going to be. You know, like watching two games at once down the stretch there.
Well, we look forward to reading that on allphly.com, and we will see you on the regular PHLY Eagles show tomorrow at 2 o'clock, EJ. Thank you so much.
See
All
ya.
right, guys. Talk soon.
All right, let's go to our last break here on the PHLY Eagles postgame show. On the other side, we got the Ace Hardware temperature check. Vinny, I'm gonna give you more of these Eagles WWE comparisons. See what you think. We'll do that on the other side. I heard that. I heard that little grumble in your tumble. You a little bit hungry? Looking for something, maybe the perfect snack that satisfies your hunger and provides the right amount of protein to fulfill your body's daily needs? You know where we're going. We're not going to wrong Chis Felon or left Chis Felon. We're going to Righteous Felon, because Righteous Felon traces its roots back to the hallways of Downingtown Middle School and was officially launched by lifelong friends in their apartment kitchen after college, based in Exton, PA. They're making all-natural, premium quality, better-for-you meat snacks, and they've been doing it for over a decade, and they have evolved into the region's preeminent jerky brand. So if you are the right kind of person who wants a deal and snacks delivered to your doorstep, you can order online at righteousfelon.com using discount code PHLY20 for 20% off. Again, that's discount code PHLY20 for 20% off your order on righteousfelon.com. Get it for the special meat snack lover in your life.
Elkins Chevrolet, run by three brothers, real brothers, and big Eagles fans. This holiday season, they're making sure you get a deal that will feel just as good as a win. Not only during the holiday season, but it then jumps into the start of 2026. They've got a big inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs. There's no better time to grab one at a price that won't last, whether it's getting to the game, to work, or hitting the holiday road, or, just simply riding around because you want to get away from the family a little bit and you need some time away to yourself. You'll roll into the new year with the perfect ride at the perfect price from Elkins Chevrolet, with real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Elkins Chevrolet, Route 73, South in Marlton, New Jersey. Easy trip to get to with some great people. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Get your new ride together. Let's drive.
Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast, Falcons fire Raheem Morris.
How about
breaking news?
Thought he would get a little more run with the quarterback situation.
I don't know how they could fire him and not fire the GM, because
Fair.
GM hired him. GM made that stupid trade for James Pierce. That's the roster. Feels like they got a clean house if they're gonna fire him. But
Is that the same GM that gave Kirk Cousins that contract and drafted Michael Penix?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
been there. He's been there for like 5 years, 6 years.
So yeah.
Come on. Anyway, all right, time for the Ace Hardware temperature check, presented by our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services. Vinny, are you ready? I got a bunch of comparisons here for
Let's
you.
go.
Cooper DeJean. The man can do it all.
Shawn Michaels. Let's go.
The man can do it all. You've seen him dunk the basketball.
Mr. Perfect?
Mr. Perfect. You just imagine Cooper DeJean doing those vignettes, spitting up the chewing gum and swatting it away?
I mean,
Absolutely.
the way he got the Cougars falling out for him, I think he was going to show Michaels. I'm not going to lie. That's for sure.
That's very good. Saquon. Saquon, no doubt, one of the best. But I think one thing you could say about Saquon is that he's very aware of how to politic behind the scenes, a little bit obsequious to power. Great on the field, also kind of a power player off the field.
Time to play the game.
Yes. Saquon Triple H.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis. Great big guy. Sometimes you might think he's a little too nice, but fantastic. Good athlete for his size. Going the Big Show.
You going Big Show.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not my favorite. That's not my favorite. I'm going to save that one for the end.
Okay.
BG. I feel good about this one.
Okay.
BG. And there's a bit of a lookalike to this one too. BG, like championship level player, no doubt about it. Also a long extended career, can be good in just a cameo situation. Always gonna be reliably on his mark for whatever you need from him.
The Rock.
No, but the guy who was the first real good feud for The Rock.
So are you going Stone Cold.
Damn.
Oh, you going? Oh,
Ron Simmons,
you going
Farouk.
Ron Simmons.
For BG. I mean, he's a former world champion. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. Long career, long extended.
BG sell tickets.
Well, BG sells tickets. That's true.
No disrespect to Ron Simmons, but
Okay. I thought it was a good one. But okay. Lane Johnson. Really respected by the ball knowers. Been around for a long time. If he's healthy, he's one of the best in the game. Tough to rely on him to be healthy. I'm giving. There's two here, but I'm giving Lane Samoa Joe.
No, you're going Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Lane. Okay. If I had to go healthy, real tough to rely on.
Now the other one you could go, if you wanted to go this long, you could go Taker.
I was going to say Taker.
Okay. One more for you. This is my favorite one. Nick Sirianni.
Oh, bro. So you go Nick Sirianni, I'm going Eric Bischoff.
Nick Sirianni, someone who, boy, is he boisterous on the sideline. He's always going to be making a scene, taking credit for things, even though, to be fair, a lot of the work is done by whoever's procuring the talent. I think Nick Sirianni is Jimmy Hart.
I love it. I like that. Oh, you go Jimmy Hart or Paul Heyman. I can see that.
Yeah. I don't think Nick has Heyman's mic skills.
But I do think he has. Are you a Heyman guy? Since he's been here, we've been rolling.
I feel pretty good about Jimmy Hart. All right. That'll do it for the Ace Hardware Temperature Check presented by our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services.
I'm surprised you didn't do Howie.
I didn't do a Howie. I should have done a Howie. That's a good one. Some love in the chat for your shoes, Devon.
Yes. Some old school Nikes. Yeah, appreciate it. Yes, Dawood.
It's a bad job by us that Vinny is in the only seat where you can't see his shoes.
A little Eagle Green Asics on.
Asics. Okay. Yeah, okay. I like that. All right, that's pretty much about all we got here on the PHLY Eagles postgame show. A couple more super chats. Go Birds says, did you know Josh Johnson is 39? And he says, Kevin Harlan all day. That's true. We did hear that a lot. But it's impressive.
It is.
This guy's been around for a while. I remember when he started against the Eagles in, was it 2009, 2010 for the Bucks? Against Kevin Cobb? Anybody remember that?
Kevin Cobb.
Skunk Riley. To put a fine point on it, play backups? Fine. Okay. Play them like their first string caliber? Clown show. Yeah, I think that's right. I think the complaints about the decision to play the backups leaves them on the hook for the game plan they put together.
Yep.
And like the coaching of getting these guys the most out of these guys. Dinkelberg, AJ Dillon is the Albert O of the 2025 season, except worse because of the bunny. Any other instances of A.J. Dillon's and Albert O's in Eagles history? Well, yes, Orlando Scandrick. Oh, he wasn't on the team the whole time.
That's a good one.
If you had, I'm gonna put you on the spot right here, Bo. Who you comparing A.J. Dillon to?
Jeez.
In the rest of the business.
Well, it's got to be someone who, by virtue of them being on the roster, you missed out on something else helpful. And someone past their prime. This is not perfectly thematic, but I'm going to give him the gobbledygooker.
All right. All right, I'll take it.
AJ Dillon is the gobbledygooker.
I would, yeah.
One last football question.
Okay. Please.
Man, I wanted to ask you because going into the playoffs, like we were talking with EJ, they're like, the path is what the path is. And last year when they got into the postseason after not having they were on a roll, but it didn't look great. What's that switch that just goes on as you go into the playoffs, knowing that there are some struggles there, like the fact that Nick Foles was starting at quarterback when Carson Wentz goes down and what's going on. So that switch that just turns on as you do go into the postseason.
Oh man, that comes with leadership. That comes with experience. So
which they had last season.
Correct.
Right.
And, you know, when you look at the Eagles offense versus that San Fran defense, on paper, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
And then in reality is, bring on the Niners. Let's go.
How much different does your week leading up to the game feel in the playoffs versus the regular season?
Bro, let me tell y'all. It's nothing like a playoff game at the LINC. You know, and it's a possibility that you can have a second playoff game at the LINC.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way things play out.
Yeah.
And I actually like those chances.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Bears, Packers. If the Packers win that game, the Eagles will get a second playoff home game.
Yeah, so that this whole week I just think is tune out everything. You know, it was all on the line, especially the way this was an up and down season, the way it went, different shapes and forms, but now we're here. And I think we all been waiting for this moment to see what the Eagles offense brings, in the playoffs. And I think they was saving the best for this moment. So.
And
ahead,
then
Devon.
last season going into it, though, even though they were the number 1 seed, felt pretty good about them getting to the game. There were others.
It felt like it was all leading to an NFC Championship game in Detroit.
Exactly,
last year.
right. But getting there, and Detroit was the other team that you really feared if there was one, just getting there, right? And with this one, though, everybody, there's no one team that you're saying, all right, I'm afraid of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
agree
with
with that.
Seattle's defense going to Seattle has to score 2.
Right.
You think maybe you can get some points on there. And I'm not saying it's wide open, but I am saying that you can win too. Just like the rest of them.
Absolutely. And then let's be honest, y'all. If we didn't have too many injuries on our offensive line, I think we sing in a different tone. You know, but the way things are shaped up is anybody could take it.
Yeah.
And I think the Eagles got a great opportunity, to repeat. So.
I do think if you are looking for real optimism, it is not. I don't really think it's realistic to think that you can just flip a switch and become a much better offense than you were all season long.
Right.
However, if there is a switch to be flipped, I do believe it could be on the offensive line, where if you get Lane Johnson back, and if 1 week off makes Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens look better, look healthier, look stronger, then that offensive line does have a chance to jump a level from what we've seen from them most of the second half of the season. And if they can dominate up front against the Niners, and then they can actually run the ball the way that they want to, that I think that would constitute enough of a switch flip to change really their upside on offense.
Right.
And Steen will be big. This being his first starter playoff run, where he's not coming off the bench anymore.
Is it the Steen versus Bryce Huff matchup? Is that the matchup?
Bryce Huff?
I think
back.
against Lane, if Lane's healthy.
Look at that.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think you would
I
probably
would
feel
take
good
that
about your
too.
chances there. All right. Good stuff here on the PHLY Eagles postgame show, despite the performance that the Eagles put up for everybody at the LINC. Thank you to Lindsay for making it happen behind the scenes. Thank you to EJ and Fran for joining us. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you, Devon, for filling in. Thank you, Vinny. And thank you, the sickos, for following us all season long. That's the regular season in the books. We will be with you next weekend, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's not going to be Monday. We will talk to you. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to soak it up. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like the video, comment below. Oh, before we go, I have one more thing to tell you about. I should have told you about it earlier. On Wednesday, as everybody's getting prepared for the big weekend, we have a very fun event, a collab podcast with our friends from Cheap Seats and the guys over at City Pigeons. It's going to be right around here in our offices. A limited number of tickets available for the Diehards that you can take advantage of. Go to allphly.com. Check out the information there. It should be a fun evening on Wednesday night. The Quest for LX, a live podcast collab. So check that out. Almost forgot.
Can't forget about that.
That's a big opportunity for the Diehards. Thanks, everybody, for watching and hanging out with us. We will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock on the PHLY Eagles show. For all of us here, as always, we love you.
See you.
We all silly like the mayor.